a very bad poll came out, or I should say a batch of polling, and then based on that, a projection from Real Clear Politics that is not hopeful. So first, we're going to give you kind of the polling shifts we've seen going in the midterms. Of course, we're incredibly close to election day, and things are not going in the direction that we want them to, as, you know, a show that is advocating for the Democratic Party in this election because of how the democracy is in the balance, women's rights are in the balance, and the actual actions taken on the economy and improving people's lives economically have come from one side over the last number of years. So to take a look at 538 first, the Senate likelihood that Democrats win is still looking okay, 62 to 38 out of 100. But what is not looking good is the shift we've seen in House polling. And as I mentioned, the Real Clear Politics prediction is not looking good for the Senate from that company. So here's the House polling. As it stands now, 75 out of 100 that Republicans will take control of the House. 25 out of 100 that Democrats will hold the House. And what we're seeing is it gone all the way up to 32 out of 100 for Democrats. And we've seen a lot of instances recently in special elections and ballot measures where the Democratic position or the Democratic candidate outperformed the polls. So we're saying, okay, if they have a third chance to win, then maybe there's a chance if they outperform the polls that they could make it happen. But it's actually dropping, and now it's all the way down to 25. And that's happened just since October 1st. It went from 32 out of 100 to 25 out of 100. So now it's an even 1/4 percentage chance Democrats will win, 3/4 that Republicans will take back the House, which, as we talked about in yesterday's show, among many things, the first being that Democrats would have their agenda come to a complete halt and wouldn't be able to make any other legislative accomplishments except for getting judges confirmed and then possibly some Joe Biden executive orders. Also, Republicans are planning, if they take back the House, to use that as an opportunity whenever the upcoming negotiation around the raising of the debt ceiling comes around, which is something that absolutely has to happen. So you can have a lot of leverage if you have a majority in the House. They're going to try to use that to possibly cut Medicare and Social Security, which would be horrible. But then, as I alluded to, this Real Clear Politics prediction, this is them projecting what's going to happen. They think Republicans in the Senate are going to have 52, Democrats 48, which is not what we're looking for, and that would be devastating, I think. 2 years of just a complete halt to any good action, and it would increase the likelihood that a Republican candidate could win in the presidential in 2024, because what Republicans are really good at is blocking all action and then saying, look, the Democrats suck because nothing got done. But you are the one who blocked their action, but people a lot of times miss that. Super upsetting. Wolf Blitzer kind of asked the question to the White House press secretary with this in mind, I think, saying, listen, Biden keeps repeating that we're going to get all these things done, including protection of your abortion rights in the next 2 years. Is he overpromising? Because there's a good chance that may not be even possibly a thing that could happen based on the political reality. Take a look.
As you know, for President Biden to make good on his pledge to codify Roe, Democrats would have to keep the House majority, pick up Senate seats, and eventually change the filibuster rule as well. That's a very tall order. Is the president setting himself up potentially for failure?
So I'll say this, Wolf, and thank you so much for having me. Look, I can't get into politics or talk about elections. You know that because of the Hatch Act, so I'm going to be very careful here in what I say as I'm standing right in front of the White House here. Look, what you heard from the president is his continuous fight to fight for millions of women across the country. When we saw what the Supreme Court did in this unconscionable decision to overturn Roe, it put millions of women's lives at risk. And here's what's at stake, Wolf, and this is why this is so important, and this is why you will continue to hear from this president on this issue, and we have, is that we're seeing these draconian laws across the country by Republicans that are putting forth laws.
So, you know, an expected response, not really answering the question of is this overpromising, but that's what she is going to obviously convey, is regardless of the political reality or likelihood that this or that will get done, Biden is trying to restate and confirm his dedication to the issue of women's rights and abortion rights. And so that's fine. I think regardless of the likelihood that the Democrats will hold the House and Senate, he should still be making those stances clearly articulated, and that's good. But it is scary to think there are some crucial issues that need to be addressed, and they won't be able to if the Democrats lose the House, Senate, or both. Very, very scary stuff.